First time I heard it, I thought it was for sure fake. Thought it was a hoax.
Mark Walter's new era of ownership has officially yanked the Lakers off LeBron's championship timeline. Luka Dončić has been cemented as the franchise's long-term cornerstone, and that alone changes everything. LeBron, hold up, has actually floated the idea of taking his talents somewhere outside the NBA entirely. And the trifecta of his player option, Luka's extension, and the ownership regime change has thrust Jeanie Buss and Mark Walter straight into the eye of the storm. Every thread in this chaos leads back to the moment the Lakers owner had to react as both Luka Dončić and LeBron James signed deals that fundamentally rewired this franchise's DNA. And it all kicks off with a trade so jaw-dropping, nobody, and I mean nobody, had it on their bingo card. The blockbuster, the arrival, and a staggering $165 million commitment. On the night of February 1st, bleeding into February 2nd, 2025, the Dallas Mavericks shipped Luka Dončić, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers in a three-team deal brokered through the Utah Jazz. In exchange, Dallas walked away with Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers' 2029 first-round pick. Utah absorbed Jalen Hood-Schifino and two 2025 second-round picks just to make the salary math work. Listen to this. The deal hit the wire at 12:16 Eastern, broken by ESPN's Shams Charania, and it detonated like a grenade across the entire league. It marked the first time in NBA history that two reigning All-NBA players had been swapped for each other in the middle of a season. LeBron James was sitting at dinner with his family when the notification lit up his phone, and his reaction in that moment tells you everything about just how utterly unreal this all was.
Saturday night, well, my emotions all over the place. Obviously, we had just come off a big win.
LeBron had literally just walked off the court at Madison Square Garden after a road win over the New York Knicks, and that's what makes this so wild. Nobody on that team had even a single second of advanced warning. Hold up, not even the players who got traded were told what was coming? Both Dončić and Davis found out through social media notifications blowing up their phones in the dead of night. Girl, imagine waking up to a trade notification and realizing it's about you. LeBron himself had to sit there and question whether what he was reading was actually real.
I heard it, I thought it was for sure fake. Thought it was a hoax.
It took a FaceTime call directly from Anthony Davis himself before any of this actually started to sink in. LeBron later admitted the trade still didn't feel real until he was standing face-to-face with Luka. And honestly, watching that clip of Davis at the Dallas shoot-around is what finally sealed it for him.
Down for quite a while, and even when I got off the phone with him, it still didn't seem real, and it still pretty much didn't seem real.
For Luka, this wasn't just a trade. This was a gut punch to the soul. He had poured 6.5 years of his life into Dallas, building something that felt unbreakable. He won Rookie of the Year, earned 5 All-Star selections, and locked down 5 All-NBA first-team honors like it was second nature. The man had a 5-year, $215 million max contract sitting in his pocket. He had looked cameras dead in the eye and told the world he wanted to be a Maverick for life. Hold up, and then in a single night, every single bit of that was gone. The very first thing Luka thought when the news broke was that there was absolutely no way this could be real.
Well, first of all, it didn't seem like real, you know. It kind of took me time to process.
The very first call he made when the news dropped was straight to his dad, Sasha, a man who lived this life as a former Slovenian and EuroLeague player himself. And his father didn't overload him with a speech. He kept it simple, and that simplicity is what completely shifted his whole mindset.
Did he give you any advice?
It was still a shock, but just, you know, he would say embrace the moment.
The rest of the league reacted exactly the way you'd expect, completely unhinged. Devin Booker reportedly mixed him up with Luka Garza, which is honestly kind of hilarious. Kevin Durant called the whole thing insane, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. Jalen Brunson genuinely asked if it was an April Fool's joke. Bro, it's February. And Patrick Mahomes took to Twitter with the most relatable 2 words possible. Wait, what? Over in Dallas, the fans did not take this lying down, not even a little bit. Hundreds of them swarmed outside American Airlines Center, bringing coffins, chanting "Fire Nico," and taping over their jerseys like they were burying someone.
Even Dirk Nowitzki, the legend himself, came out and said the trade genuinely hurt. And when Dirk speaks, you listen. Meanwhile, on the Lakers side, the energy was completely different. They were celebrating as if they'd already won the championship. Title odds in some sports books flipped from 40-1 all the way down to 16-1 overnight, which is absolutely wild. Crypto.com arena was flooded with number 77 jerseys, and the Lakers' Twitter was in full meltdown mode. The good kind. Dončić wasted zero time and flew out to Los Angeles the very night the trade was finalized. His introductory press conference dropped on Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, at the UCLA Health Training Center. He stood up there alongside GM Rob Pelinka, head coach JJ Redick, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. Full new chapter energy. He rocked that iconic number 77, now draped in purple and gold, and called the trade a massive shock to his system. He told reporters that loyalty meant everything to him and that leaving Dallas was something he never once saw coming. Pelinka stepped to the mic and called him a one-of-a-kind young global superstar who would lead the franchise for years. No pressure, Luka. His actual on-court debut came on February 10th against the Utah Jazz, and the building was electric. Every single fan walking through those doors got a gold number 77 t-shirt. The Lakers do not miss on the theatrics. "Luka! Luka!" echoed all night long, and the crowd was completely locked in from tip-off. He logged around 23 minutes and put up 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists in a dominant Lakers blowout win. Then 2 weeks later, hold up, he had to face the Mavericks in Los Angeles, his former squad. He answered that moment with a triple-double in a 107-99 victory, basically putting a bow on the entire saga. But the moment that made him truly feel like a Laker, it wasn't the revenge game, it was that very first home debut against Utah.
That was probably my first game, when I started, the way they welcomed me.
After his first season in purple and gold, Dončić locked in on silencing every critic who had a hand in pushing that trade through. He went full beast mode in the offseason, and listen to this, the transformation was so serious it landed him on the cover of Men's Health. Conditioning, strength, speed, he attacked all three as his legacy depended on it, because honestly, it did. But the physical glow-up wasn't even the whole story, because he also got on the phone and started recruiting, pulling names like DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart into his circle. The message to the Lakers front office wasn't subtle, it was loud, direct, and it hit. This man was fully bought in on winning right now, and that energy set the stage for the contract that changed everything. Hold up. On August 2nd, 2025, the very first day the Lakers were legally allowed to offer it, Dončić locked in a 3-year, $165 million maximum veteran extension. The deal activates in the 2026-27 season, runs fully guaranteed through 2027-28, and comes with a player option for 2028-29 worth a projected $57 million. Break that down year by year, and you're looking at roughly $49.5 million in year 1, $53.46 million in year 2, and $57.42 million in year 3. Now here's where it gets genuinely brilliant. What Dončić decided to leave on the table is the part that most people slept on. He walked away from a 4-year, roughly $229 million maximum extension. Yes, walked away, giving up about $64 million in short-term guaranteed money. Girl, who does that? By choosing the shorter deal, he positioned himself to hit 10 years of NBA service time and qualify for a full 35% Supermax starting salary in 2028. That path could unlock a 5-year worth somewhere between $417 and $418 million, a number so massive it barely feels real. Translation, he traded short-term comfort for a long-term payday that would rewrite the record books. But beyond the math, this was a statement, a declaration of exactly who Luka Dončić intends to be and where he intends to be it. He wants to be a Laker through the absolute peak of his prime. He wants to chase championships while he's still in his window, not after it closes. And he wants every future option, including that Supermax monster deal, sitting right there waiting for him. Rob Pelinka stepped to the podium and said what needed to be said. 6 months ago, the Los Angeles Lakers chose Luka Dončić, and today, Luka Dončić chose the Los Angeles Lakers, calling it a monumental moment in franchise history. For a kid who traveled from Slovenia to Madrid to Dallas and finally to Los Angeles, the road was long and winding, but this city, it was already starting to feel like home.
First of all, this is the first city I play in that has an ocean.
That contract was the anchor that chained Luka to the Lakers for good. But hold up, because what happened around it is where this story absolutely explodes. We're talking new ownership, LeBron's big decision, and whispers of a tournament that has nothing to do with the NBA. Listen to this. The most seismic off-court transformation in Lakers history dropped roughly 5 months after the Luka trade shook the league. In June 2025, the Buss family agreed to hand over majority control of the franchise to a group headlined by financier and Dodgers owner Mark Walter. The deal slapped a $10 billion price tag on the Lakers, making it the largest sale of a professional sports franchise in U.S. history, full stop. That number also drew a hard line under 46 years of Buss family stewardship, a dynasty that launched when Jerry Buss scooped up the team for just $67.5 million back in 1979. The sale officially closed in late October 2025 after receiving the NBA's stamp of approval. Jeannie Buss stayed on as governor under a 5-year deal with promises that operations wouldn't change for half a decade. But girl, those promises started crumbling fast, because the message rolling out of the new ownership group had absolutely zero to do with continuity. According to Fox Sports analyst Colin Cowherd, these new owners walked in carrying a brand new philosophy and a jaw-dropping willingness to make Lakers fans deeply, deeply uncomfortable.
J-Mac, if you're a Laker fan, it was a disheartening day.
Cowherd's take was that the new ownership approaches winning the same way the Dodgers do, through elite scouting, serious infrastructure, real depth, and the kind of brutal honesty most front offices are too scared to have about whether their roster can actually compete for a championship.
So the new owners, they know what success is all about. They own the Dodgers.
He flagged a flood of Lakers headlines all singing the same tune. The organization was reportedly hoarding cap space like a secret weapon for next offseason. The Dorian Finney-Smith exit was being called nothing short of a front office disaster. GM Rob Pelinka was catching heat from every direction, but one headline stood out above the rest. LeBron James is reportedly being shut out of free agency decisions entirely, with a front office insider confirming the Lakers are leaving him completely out of the room. And listen, for a guy who has fingerprints on every roster move in every city he has ever played in, that implication hits like a gut punch. That brings us to the second domino that sent this whole story tumbling: LeBron's contract. On June 29, 2025, LeBron officially pulled the trigger on his $52.627 million player option, locking in his return for a record-breaking 23rd NBA season. No player in league history has ever touched that milestone, not one. That contract is one of the fattest single-season paychecks the NBA has ever seen. We're talking fully guaranteed money, a 15% trade kicker, and a complete no-trade clause that gives him veto power over any deal that has his name attached. Oh, and it swallows roughly 34% of the league cap and 28% of the luxury tax threshold for 2025-26. Just let that sink in. This move extended the deal LeBron first signed off on back in July 2024, a 2-year, $101.355 million max extension that came right on the heels of the Lakers drafting his son, Bronny James. That made them the first father-son duo to share an NBA roster in the history of the league, which, hold up, is still wild every time you say it out loud. By opting in to 2025-26 rather than locking in a new extension with another player option attached, LeBron deliberately positioned himself to hit unrestricted free agency in the summer of 2026 with zero safety net. His agent, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, made the chess move crystal clear when he broke it down for ESPN. Paul said LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. Girl, that one statement lays bare every ounce of tension driving this entire story. The Lakers are openly constructing their post-LeBron future around Luka. LeBron, at 41 years old and in year 23, still wants a legitimate shot at another ring, not a participation trophy. And the new ownership group has made its priority list loud and clear to the rest of the league. According to Colin Cowherd, the new owners are essentially out here big game hunting for next offseason. They
They are not building this roster to win a championship right now, and everybody inside that building knows it.
And so this morning, it appears they're going big game hunting next year. They do not think this is a championship team.
Here's where it gets brutally real. The Buss family spent years convincing themselves that one more piece, just one, would finally push LeBron's Lakers over the edge. Hold up, because the new ownership group doesn't carry that same sentimental baggage around LeBron's championship window. Colin Cowherd said it flat out. These new owners are not losing a single minute of sleep over LeBron feeling some type of way. And that right there is the real explosion buried inside this entire story. Not some dramatic blow-up between Mark Walter and Jeannie Buss in a boardroom, but a cold, calculated dismantling of the LeBron-first identity that has run this franchise since 2018. Listen to this. The new ownership has already started signaling their vision by upgrading the scouting department, actively hunting for a long-term GM, and hoarding cap space for a star built around Luka's timeline. Girl, they are doing all of that with full awareness that every single move sends a loud, unmistakable message to a 41-year-old legend holding a no-trade clause.
Big game hunting next year, not including LeBron in the discussions. He's had a great career.
That was domino number 2, and it hit harder than most people realize. Now here comes the third domino, and this one is the reason that whole outside the NBA framing even exists in the first place. While there's zero official joint contract linking LeBron and Luka off the court, the rumors swirling around LeBron's non-NBA ambitions have single-handedly fueled this viral firestorm. Listen to this. Back in October 2025, LeBron was reportedly sniffing around a non-NBA tournament concept tied to a high school showcase event connected to his personal brand, alongside a completely separate Ace golf-related venture. And if that wasn't enough, even bigger whispers started leaking out about LeBron and his right-hand business partner Maverick Carter quietly building a brand new international basketball league with a potential 2026 launch backed by investor groups with serious European money. Now hold up. None of that has been locked in, none of it has been signed off on, and critically, no document exists that officially connects Luka Dončić and LeBron James to any contract outside the NBA. The viral headline is manufactured clickbait, full stop, but the raw ingredients underneath it, completely real. LeBron has been openly mapping out his life beyond the league he has absolutely owned for 23 years, and Lakers ownership has made it crystal clear they are already blueprinting a future that doesn't revolve around him. The financial picture tells you exactly why these conversations are popping off right now. LeBron's on-court career earnings have blown past $581 million. And once you stack endorsements on top of that, the man is operating deep inside billionaire territory. He does not need another NBA contract to feel financially safe. That chapter is closed. What he needs, what he will tell you himself he genuinely craves, is a real, legitimate shot at competing for a championship. And girl, look at the Western Conference right now. Oklahoma City, Houston, Denver, and a hungry San Antonio on the rise. The Lakers' current roster is not giving him that on paper, not even close. So when Colin Cowherd says LeBron shouldn't be calling shots at this stage of his career, he is literally just saying out loud what the new ownership group has already decided internally. The Lakers are no longer LeBron's franchise. They are Luka's franchise now, and the LeBron era is being quietly ushered out through a side door instead of being celebrated with a championship parade. Now let's talk about the LeBron-Luka on-court connection, their dynamic, and what it actually means for this team going forward. While the front office and ownership have been drawing battle lines behind closed doors, the actual relationship between these two players on the floor has been the complete opposite of messy. It has genuinely been one of the most authentic superstar pairings this league has put together in a long time, built on real mutual respect, real mentorship, and a shared basketball IQ you can physically see translating to results every single night. Luka has been publicly calling LeBron his idol since his rookie year, all the way back in 2018. This isn't new. This isn't PR.
This is genuine. Their very first face-to-face moment came on November 1st, 2018, when a visibly nervous rookie Luka stepped onto the court against his hero, then hunted him down after the final buzzer for a signed shoe inscribed with the words, "Strive for greatness." LeBron signed it without hesitation. He has talked about that moment with real warmth ever since, and he has publicly put Luka on record as his favorite young player in the entire league for years now. So when the trade went down and these two actually landed on the same team, the foundation for something special was already in place. Luka himself opened up about what it has genuinely been like to share a locker room with the greatest of his generation.
It's great. You see, I've never played with a guy like this.
The very first thing that caught his attention wasn't LeBron's raw skill on the court. It was the man's preparation, the rituals, the routines, the relentless discipline before tip-off. Luka figured it out fast, like embarrassingly fast, that what separates a 22-year MVP from every other guy in the league isn't just God-given ability. It's an almost obsessive, borderline unhealthy devotion to the process itself.
But just to play with guys like him, like, it's unbelievable. Like, I could learn so many stuff.
Luka couldn't even hide the shock when he talked about what it's actually like trying to match LeBron's pregame routine. Showing up early to the arena? Yeah, that's not being impressive real fast. Because by the time Luka walked through those doors, LeBron had already wrapped up his entire pregame session and was probably on his second recovery treatment.
Well, first of all, he shows up like 10 hours before the game. So.
That kind of mentorship doesn't just happen by accident. It's been deliberately built. The Lakers front office straight up asked LeBron to take Luka under his wing on conditioning, professionalism, and how to carry yourself when the cameras never stop rolling. And as Luka stepped into the pressure cooker of being the franchise face, LeBron didn't hesitate. He locked in on that mentor role. Luka, for his part, has been refreshingly open about it, calling the chance to play alongside LeBron an actual dream come true. But here's what really caught my attention. It's how raw and real Luka has been on the on-court chemistry. He hasn't sat in front of a mic and fed us the polished PR answer that everything clicked perfectly from day one.
Just, I still think it's a work in progress.
LeBron has been equally vocal on his side of things. On Mind the Game, his podcast alongside Steve Nash, he broke down exactly why Luka's arrival has him genuinely fired up on a personal level. He described Luka as the kind of player who embodies the basketball philosophy LeBron has spent his entire career trying to pass down to the next generation. And listen to this, what LeBron respects most about Luka has nothing to do with the scoring numbers or the dimes. It is the way Luka rewires the belief systems of everyone sharing the floor with him. He does not just make teammates better, he makes them believe they are better than they ever thought possible. And that kind of psychological elevation, that is what builds championship DNA out of thin air. That rare ability to manufacture confidence is a major reason this on-court pairing actually worked when most people thought it wouldn't. Because coming into the 2025-26 season, the skepticism was loud and honestly not unfair. Both of these guys are primary ball handlers with elite playmaking vision, two alpha processors who both want to run the show. The fear was that you simply cannot put two lead engines in the same machine without one of them breaking down. Hold up. Early in the season, the numbers actually backed that fear up. Lineups featuring Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves were posting negative net ratings across certain sample sizes. And with injuries keeping the trio limited to just 10 to 12 games together before the All-Star break, nobody really had answers yet. But late in the season, something shifted, and when it shifted hard. Luka closed out the year averaging 33.5 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 8.3 assists on 47.6% shooting across 64 games with a jaw-dropping plus 187 net rating. LeBron, operating in a dialed-back usage role, still put up 20.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 7.2 assists while shooting 51.5% over 60 games. When both were healthy and active, the Lakers went an insane 32-7. They finished 53-29 overall, locked down the number 4 seed in the West, and claimed the Pacific Division title. Girl, what changed was almost embarrassingly simple. LeBron made the sacrifice. No ego, no hesitation, no negotiation.
He straight up told the team he was going to reshape his entire game around Luka and build himself into the system rather than forcing the system around him. He became a spacer, a screener, a short roller, a quick decision passer, whatever the offense needed him to be in that moment. He willingly surrendered his use, and that willingness unlocked everything. By March, the two-person net rating between him and Luka had completely flipped into positive territory. Head coach J.J. Redick went on record describing the pairing as something developing into genuine synergy. In January 2026, Redick said, "I love what's happening right now with Luka and LeBron in that partnership. There's some real synergy happening right now that it's fun to watch." And the transition game? Oh, that became a nightmare for opposing defenses. Luka's full-court outlet passes combined with LeBron's open floor finishing created one of the most unguardable two-person actions in the entire league. The Big Three, alongside Reeves, rattled off a 12-2 record during a pivotal late-season run and stayed perfect in every game in which both LeBron and Luka cracked 30 points. What everyone assumed would be an awkward roster puzzle turned into a masterclass in veteran leadership buying into a shared vision.
And off the floor, listen to this. The brotherhood translated just as smoothly. Golf trips, joint celebrations, and Luka straight up telling the world he hoped LeBron would retire wearing purple and gold. The advice LeBron dropped on Luka when he first walked through those doors was stripped down and simple. It was the same guiding principle LeBron has operated by since day one of his career. And honestly, it explains everything about why these two clicked so fast. So when you cut through all the noise swirling around the Lakers owner making moves outside the NBA, hold up, the real story here is 100 times more layered than the clickbait version. Luka locked in a record-breaking $165 million extension with a clear roadmap pointing straight toward a future supermax. LeBron picked up his $52.627 million player option for a jaw-dropping 23rd season, while quietly laying groundwork for life after basketball. The Buss family handed over majority control to Mark Walter at a $10 billion valuation, closing out 46 years of family ownership just like that. The incoming ownership group has been loud and clear that they are building this franchise around Luka, hunting big in 2026 and losing zero sleep over LeBron's comfort level with any of it. Girl, and right in the dead center of all that financial and political chaos, these two players went and built one of the most genuine on-court mentorships this generation of basketball has ever witnessed. A 41-year-old living legend is handing the keys to a 26-year-old superstar while still averaging over 20 points a night and knocking down 51.5% from the field. That is the Lakers story that actually matters. This is not about one owner going off in a single moment. This is a slow, calculated, intentional transfer of power happening in real time. From Jeannie Buss to Mark Walter, from LeBron to Luka, from the win now or die mentality of the 2000s to a long horizon, cap space first rebuild philosophy. The headline that broke the internet nailed the emotion and completely fumbled the facts. But the truth buried underneath it, the trade, the extension, the option, the sale, and the partnership, that is the most consequential transformation this franchise has experienced since they were rebuilding from the rubble of the Kobe era. And the most unfiltered read on exactly where the Lakers stand today might just come from Colin Cowherd's blunt assessment of how the new ownership group actually sees this world. That is the reality LeBron, Luka, Pelinka, Jeannie, and Mark Walter are all navigating right now. The contracts are real, the ownership shift is real, the non-NBA tournament conversations are real, the mentorship is real. The only thing that never actually happened is the joint signing outside the league. Every single other domino that stacked up to create that viral headline fell exactly the way the basketball world watched it happen. And that is where this story lands.